Chapter 1, Shadows and Sanctuary. After the whirlwind of chaos and relentless pursuit, John Wick, also known as Baba Yaga, the Boogeyman, finally found a semblance of peace within the massive walls of the Hall of Justice. Seeking sanctuary from the onslaught of the High Table, the feared assassin was now a guest in the home of the world's greatest heroes. The hall was a monument to humanity's resilience, much like Wick himself. Each crevice of the imposing structure whispered tales of valiant deeds and great sacrifices. Yet, for John, it was merely a temporary haven, a brief reprieve from the battles that raged outside. Among the pantheon of these heroes, one stood out: Diana Prince, also known as Wonder Woman. She was a figure of myth and legend, an Amazonian princess turned protector of humanity. John had heard of her exploits, the godly foes she had defeated, the wars she had prevented. As the first day in the Hall of Justice drew to a close, John found himself seated across from Diana in the common room. A steaming cup of coffee, a rare commodity in his turbulent life, cradled in his hands. Diana observed John from across the table. His reputation preceded him, tales of his ruthlessness and his uncanny ability to cheat death. Yet, what piqued her curiosity was not his reputation as an assassin, but the ordinary man beneath the facade. The man who loved deeply, lost tragically, and still had the will to fight. "John Wick," she began, her tone more curious than interrogative. "A name that incites fear in the hearts of the world's most dangerous. Yet, here you are, sipping coffee amidst the world's greatest heroes. Quite the paradox." John merely chuckled, a smirk tugging at the corner of his lips. "Isn't that what life is, Diana? A paradox?" Their eyes met, two warriors from vastly different worlds sharing an understanding. They were both fighters, survivors, but most importantly, they were both humans molded by love and loss. Little did they know that this casual conversation was just the beginning of a deep connection that would reveal the strength of the human spirit like never before. Chapter 2, Heartstrings and Hand Grenades. As the nights grew longer, the hallowed halls of the Justice League's fortress saw an unlikely friendship unfold. Wonder Woman, the immortal princess of Themyscira, and John Wick, the mortal assassin marked by the underworld, found a common ground in their shared experience of love and loss. One evening, as they sipped their routine cups of coffee, Diana probed a question that had been bothering her. "John, in all my years, I have known many warriors, but none like you. You fight with the ferocity of a demigod, but behind your eyes, there is humanity. There's love. How?" John, his gaze fixated on the steam wafting off his coffee, answered, "Love isn't just about the warm, fuzzy feelings, Diana. It's also a hand grenade. It explodes, shatters your world, leaves you in pieces. But once you learn to put those pieces back together, you become more resilient than ever." His words were like an echo in the still room, reverberating through Diana's soul. His viewpoint was different, a refreshing perspective compared to the divine absolutes she was used to. This man, broken and rebuilt by love, was a warrior in his own right. A warrior of the heart. "Doesn't it hurt?" Diana asked, a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes. "The memories, the loss?" John looked at her, a wistful smile on his face. "Every day. But it's a hurt I wouldn't trade for anything. Because that's all I have left. My memories, the love, it's what keeps me going. It's what makes me, me." Silence fell upon them as Diana absorbed his words. The understanding of love from a mortal man, so different from her divine teachings, yet so profoundly touching, brought an unfamiliar sensation to her eyes. Tears. As a single teardrop fell onto her clenched hands, she found herself admiring John Wick in a way she hadn't thought possible. He was not just a ruthless assassin. He was a man molded by love, a man who showed the resilience of the human spirit in its rawest form. And for Diana, this revelation was just the beginning. Chapter 3: Through the Looking Glass. The following days were a revelation for Diana. She found herself drawn to the resilience and determination that John Wick emanated. Their conversations often veered towards love, a subject that was as deep and mysterious as the ocean. One evening, as they sat in their usual spots, Diana asked, "John, does it not wear you down? The constant fight, the loss, the pain. As an Amazon, I have been taught to stand tall, no matter what. But seeing you, a mortal man carrying such burdens, it's overwhelming." John chuckled, a somber sound in the vast room. "Diana, have you ever looked at a piece of glass? It's brittle, shatters easily. But once it's broken, those shards become the most resilient. Each piece is a testament to its endurance. That's what love is for me. It's like the glass that shattered when I lost everything. But every shard, every memory, every moment, it has made me who I am." His comparison, as bleak as it was, struck a chord in Diana. As an immortal, she had loved and lost, but the perspective of a mortal man, the impermanence of their existence, made her view love in a new light. Diana couldn't stop the tears that welled up in her eyes. She had seen many things in her centuries of existence, but the raw power of love from a mortal's perspective was overwhelming. Looking at John Wick, she saw more than just the hardened assassin. She saw a man who had taken the shards of his broken life and turned them into an unbreakable armor. She saw a man who was, in many ways, stronger than her. In that moment, she realized that the world had found a new protector. A man who was not marked by divine powers or mystical weapons, but by the strength of his love and resilience. As she wiped away a single tear that slipped down her cheek, Diana Prince knew she had much to learn from John Wick. Chapter 4: Tears and Triumphs. As the days turned into weeks, Diana found herself seeing the world through a different lens, a lens crafted by John's philosophies. The more she understood his perspective, the more she found herself admiring the mortal man. His resilience, his determination, and his enduring love were testament to a strength she had never witnessed before. One evening, as the rain tapped gently against the window panes, Diana brought up a question that had been lingering in her mind. "John, do you ever regret it? Falling in love, knowing the pain it brings?" John, who had been staring into the abyss outside, turned towards her. "Never," he answered firmly. "Because love, in all its glorious pain and profound joy, made me feel alive. It gave me something to fight for, something worth all the bloodshed and tears." His certainty, his absolute conviction, struck Diana like a lightning bolt. She had always perceived love as a beautiful but dangerous feeling, something that brought as much pain as it did joy. But John's perspective was so radically different, it left her reeling. As his words washed over her, Diana felt a tear trickling down her cheek. This man had endured so much for love, for the sheer joy of having loved and been loved. His resilience was humbling, his strength, awe-inspiring. Wiping away her tears, Diana found herself overwhelmed by a profound respect for John Wick. The man who, despite his life as an assassin, had displayed a strength she had yet to encounter in her divine existence. She had found a new protector in John, a protector not of the world, but of its most potent and life-giving emotion, love. And as she sat there, silently watching the raindrops chase each other down the window. Chapter 5: A New Dawn. In the weeks that followed, Diana found herself increasingly drawn to the resilience and strength John embodied. He was unlike any warrior she had known, his battles fought not on mythical battlefields but within the depths of his heart. His armor wasn't forged with divine powers but stitched together with the remnants of his shattered love. John's resilience was a testament to the power of the human spirit, proof that love could birth not only vulnerability but also an undying strength. It was a lesson Diana found herself cherishing, a newfound understanding she was eager to learn from. One night, as they shared another moment over coffee, Diana found herself reaching across the table, her hand resting on top of John's. "John," she began, her voice a mere whisper, "your journey, your resilience, it's taught me more about love and strength than my centuries of existence. You are, in your own way, more powerful than any god or superhero I have known." John simply smiled, a quiet acknowledgement of her words. Diana could see the weight of her confession reflected in his eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. John Wick, the feared assassin, the Baba Yaga, had shown her a new perspective of love and strength. He was a protector, not born out of divine intervention or cosmic destiny, but out of love and loss. He was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a beacon for all that humanity could achieve. And as Diana looked at John, her heart swelled with a newfound determination. She had learned from him, grown with him, and now, she would carry his lessons forward. She would become a better protector, not just for the world, but for the emotion that made it worth protecting, love. As the dawn broke, heralding a new day, Diana knew it was also the dawn of a new understanding, a new respect for the power of love, and a new protector born from its ashes. The day of John's departure dawned bright and clear, the Hall of Justice bustling with a bittersweet energy. Every hero in the hall, from Superman to the Flash, gathered to bid farewell to their unusual guest. They had come to know John Wick not as the feared assassin of the underworld but as a man of extraordinary resilience and unyielding strength of spirit. With a final nod, John turned, making his way towards the exit, the Hall of Justice growing quiet in his wake. As the doors closed behind him, Diana, Wonder Woman, Princess of Themyscira, knew they had not lost a guest but gained an ally, a protector in the most unexpected of forms, Baba Yaga, the man born of love and resilience. Chapter 6, Meetings and Musings. John Wick made his way through the labyrinthine underbelly of the city, his steps leading him to the underground domain of the Bowery King. The air was filled with an electric tension, a testament to the imminent reckoning that was brewing in the underworld. The Bowery King, leaning against his throne of castaway junk, watched as the notorious assassin approached. "Baba Yaga," he greeted, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Rumor has it you've been keeping interesting company." John shrugged, a smirk tugging at his lips. "You could say that, Bowery King." Intrigued, the king leaned forward. "Do tell." John paused, considering his words. "I sought refuge with the Justice League," he confessed, his words hanging heavy in the air. The Bowery King raised an eyebrow. "The superheroes, eh? That's a twist I didn't see coming." John nodded, acknowledging the absurdity of it all. "I found an ally in Diana, Wonder Woman. She offered me sanctuary." The Bowery King leaned back, a laugh rumbling in his chest. "Baba Yaga and Wonder Woman. Now, that's a story for the ages." A silence fell upon them as the Bowery King processed John's words. "Seems like our Wonder Woman left quite an impression on you, Baba Yaga." John simply nodded, the memories of his time in the Hall of Justice flooding his mind. "More than you know, Bowery King. More than you know." The end. Subscribe for more AI fan fiction stories.